Hello everyone, welcome to another video and welcome back to RaceRoom, where today we're going to be racing in the GT4 class at the Nürburgring. Now, I've had some pretty encouraging results in the Lotus in recent months, so we're sticking with that car today, and as you can see, we're not that far from the front of the grid. We've put it on the 4th row, qualifying in 8th with a time of 2:06.0. However, I do feel like I've got faster lap times in me, so I'm quietly confident here of pushing for a top 6. But to do that, it's absolutely essential that we have a good first lap, and that's not going to be easy. It's an absolutely stacked grid with 29 drivers lining up here at the Nürburgring, so let's get down to the track and see how we get on. Well, we've made an absolutely terrible start. I don't know what we were waiting for then. The reactions of a sloth as those lights went green. The two drivers on the 5th row have already both surged past me, including my good friend from the SCB community, Paul Martin. He's got past. I suspect several others will follow as we approach T1 for the first time. Being on the outside is never ideal. It's so easy to get taken out. Thankfully, it looks like we've got through okay, although we have lost a load of places. We're down into 13th. We've lost 5 positions. Although we do have a tighter line to get up the inside of Satari, Daniel in the BMW. Oh, there's contact from behind. The rear stepping out. We're going to try and save it. Oh, but we can't with an even bigger hit from one of the following cars. It spins us right around, and we're going to have to rejoin at the very back of the pack. Well, we said just before the lights went green that it was important we had a good first lap, and this has been anything but good. We're in 28th. Yeah, I've got no one to blame but myself here. We were absolutely terrible off the line when the lights went green. We'd already given away 5 or 6 positions before we'd even made it to T1. But then a couple of corners later, we just get a tap from behind from Jack Longstaff's BMW, and that sends us into a spin. On board with Longstaff, we can see he also takes a hit from behind right there. That pushes him into me, and it sends me into a spin that I thought I could recover from until I take another big wallop from another BMW. Well, what on earth are we going to do from this position? Top 6 was our original goal. That's out of the question now, but there is still a lot to play for. We're only on lap 1, and we know we're quite a bit faster than a lot of these guys in front of us, and there's also the potential for crashes, and the yellow flags are out, so we might have had our first one. I'm looking for the incident, and yeah, there it is, the BMW of Isaac Salguero. So Isaac's crashed out. That's put us up to 27th, and we're gaining fast on Tony Saltarelli in 26th. It looks like Saltarelli is just beginning to lose touch with the pack ahead. I was around 4.5 seconds behind Saltarelli and the rest of the gang when I rejoined, but now we're within a second. And that's a big group of cars we can see ahead, and some of them may have even come to grief because the yellow flags are out again as we reach the chicane. What's gone on here? There's big clouds of dust, and we've gained 2 positions. We're up to 25th, so there must have been 2 cars in the barrier there, and we might get another position because we're right on the tail of Saltarelli now. We get a much better drive out of the final turn, so we're side by side as we charge down the start and finish straight to end lap 1. We're certainly carrying more speed than Saltarelli here, but he will have the inside line, so it's all going to come down to whether he decides to fight for this position or whether he lets me have it. It looks like he's let me have it because he eases off. We make it to T1 unchallenged and into 24th position. Next up is the KTM. That's Ricardo Quiros, although the yellow flags are out. There's another BMW that's crashed out, so that has put us up to 23rd. So 5 positions gained in less than a lap. The first came when Isaac Salguero took that nudge from behind down the straight that sent him into the barrier. For the next instant, we're going to ride on board with my SCB friend Pavel Bogdan, because look at the BMW coming right through on the inside. He's completely out of control. He took another car with him, and actually he was lucky not to take Pavel too. Look how far back he came from. He was never going to make that corner. So that gave us 2 more positions. Then we were able to pass Tony Saltarelli down the straight, and finally we were able to claim a 5th position back when Timo Konechny spins out. Yeah, that gap to Ricardo Quiros and the boys closing all the time now. We may get another position in the meantime because there's another yellow flag, another dust cloud. That was Carlo Vignaroli facing the wrong way, so that's put us up to 22nd position. Oh, and we can make that 21st position. We must have lost a driver somewhere because we've gained another position there, and it might get better still because another car out very wide on the exit of that section. He's well down on speed, but the question is, have we got enough of it to get alongside and past before we reach the chicane? I'm going to have a look, but the yellow flags are out, so I'm going to think better of it. We don't know where the danger is, and also we don't want to overtake under the yellow flags. It looks like Fish is going into the pits anyway. There's the car rejoining that caused the yellow. It looks like John McKenzie was the one driver behind me when I rejoined after my lap 1 spin. He's in 27th now, so this pass isn't for position. We are lapping McKenzie here, but it's important that we get past him as quickly as possible. We want to stay in touch with Quiros and the drivers ahead. And it looks like a couple of them might have run in a little bit hot into T1. That Audi of Fabrizio Greco in particular has gone in way too deep. That's going to allow Quiros to have a sniff, but he's run wide now into T2, and that's going to give us an opportunity to pull alongside. We've got our noses in front, and we'll have the inside line into this turn. Another yellow flag is out, so we're up to 19th, but it could get better. What's going on around here? There's one car facing backwards, another one out on the runoff area. He's going to rejoin to the left, but we've got the pace to get past. So this is really encouraging progress now. We're up to 17th position and we're right on the rear spoiler of this Audi in front, Fabrizio Greco. We saw him run wide into T1. Hopefully he might run wide again. He's not great through that turn and we might have a little bit of extra speed here. Let's try and pick up some draft. And if we can time it right, we might be able to make a move up the inside. It's important that we hug this tight line. We don't want to drift out wide and push Greco onto the gravel. We've done it. Another clean pass. We're up to 16th position. So another bunch of places gained, and it started with Carlo Vignaroli just clipping that curb on the inside. The rear steps out and spins him out of the race. The yellow flags then came out of the chicane when the lap driver John McKenzie spins out spectacularly into the gravel. Then Victor Olofsson in 15th just gets too close to the car in front. There's contact that causes him to spin out. Oh no, and then he's going to reverse into the racing line. And the BMW CA Burke had nowhere to go. On board with Burke. This is exactly what you don't want to see coming out of a blind corner. And then a couple of turns later we made this textbook pass up the inside of Fabrizio Greco to take 16th position. Really happy with this pass. Well, we've wasted no time in opening up a bit of a gap over Greco behind. He's already 2 seconds back now. We've not even finished the lap since making that pass, and now we're right on the tail of Victor Patriak. And we seem to be pretty quick through this final turn. We've made up a few positions from getting a good drive out of the corner and then pulling out of the draft. This is the battle for 15th place. We're alongside Victor now. And much like the other passes that we've made here, we're going to have the inside line for T1. But how hard is Victor going to defend here? We're still side by side, so he's not going to make it easy. There's a little bit of contact. Oh, and out of nowhere, there's another car. That's fast Medicki. I didn't see where he came from. That would explain the yellow flags and why they were out at the first turn, though. But yeah, Medicki, he was up battling for a top 4. Here's a replay of the pass on Patriak, and yeah, we get far enough alongside to make that inside line our own into T1. It's close, but we get it done cleanly, and then we have to deal with Medicki rejoining. This is his spin. He's crashing out of 4th position. Rejoining the live action a lap later, and for the previous lap we've just been trying to keep up with Medicki. We're in a solid 15th position now, but that might get better because Jack Longstaff has run it out wide on the left there and he's spun too, so that puts us up to 14th. Yeah, Longstaff was the driver who we had contact with on lap 1. Well, he's got it all wrong into turn 1 here, out into the gravel. Looks like he's done enough to rejoin, but then dirty tyres cause him to spin. We're jumping forward now to the final third of the race, and we've actually done a pretty good job of sticking with Medicki here. He's got a fairly high rating, and he was running in 4th position before his spin, so I thought that he'd be too quick for us, but this is encouraging. We're sticking with him here, and we're still in 14th place. However, there's more danger lurking ahead. Let's switch on the TV cam. Now we're watching Frank Bablo. He's a backmarker in the orange BMW that you may remember from that spin of the fast chicane at the end of lap 1. Well, he's clearly running with damage because he's having real difficulty keeping that car on the track. He's running wide there just ahead of us, and now he's going to rejoin and run wide again. Medicki and I have caught up with him now, so we can switch off the TV cam, but this is going to cause complications at the next corner. Look at Medicki, he's got the pace to go alongside and pass, but we're not quite there, and the yellow flags are out. And with Bablo holding that line, we've got no choice but to stick to this line, and there's a BMW rejoining right in front of us. Meanwhile, Bablo T-bones the other car involved in that yellow flag incident. We were really lucky to avoid it, and it's promoted us to 12th. This is the replay of that instant a little bit further ahead, and Satari Daniel in the BMW just getting a little bit too close to the Audi of Florence Semler. But big credit to Daniel here. Look, he's going to wait for the Audi to rejoin. He knows that he's caused the collision, but when he does rejoin, it's right in my path, and I've got nowhere to go because the lap driver, Bablo, is right on the outside of me. There's the contact, minimal contact, but it sends both cars into a spin. Now keep your eye on Daniel, the BMW. He's waiting to rejoin. Now he's going to decide to, but look how close we get to getting squeezed out. We just make it by, and then we see Bablo running in too hot and T-boning the Audi into the gravel. We're into the final 3 minutes of the race now, and although we're losing a little bit of ground on Medicki ahead, make no mistake about it, we have transformed our fortunes in this race, 28th to 12th. So why then do we make this crazy mistake under no pressure at all? There was absolutely no need to be pushing that hard there. We should have been satisfied with getting into 12th place. We knew Medicki was faster ahead, yet still we pushed. We also know that we're carrying suspension damage from that first lap incident. The car's not been handling perfectly all the way through this race, so with all those factors considered, we should have settled for that 12th position, I think. Instead, we've surrendered 3 places. We're down to 15th, and things are going to get worse because Patriak in front has got some major lag issues. It distracts me. We get out onto the grass, and for the second time in a few corners, we've spun. Patriak's lag really spooked me there. I thought we were going to hit him. I lost concentration momentarily. We're out into the gravel, and we've undone all that good work. We're down to 17th place. Oh, I was absolutely fuming with myself for making this mistake. We're under no pressure at this point, and we should have been satisfied with 12th, given that we were 28th at the end of lap 1. And had I not made that mistake, I wouldn't have been spooked by the lag in front of me, which you can't see on the replay, but there's the end result. So can we carry out any damage limitation work over the final minute and a half of this race? I suspect we'll get one more lap after this one, so all we can do at the moment is apply pressure to the 2 drivers in front. We're currently in 17th, but we've got sight of a top 15 here if we can get past these 2. Greco's having a look up the inside of Konecki, and there's contact. Is Greco going to lose it on the left? Yes, he is. Where's Konecki? He's still on the inside of us. We're just going to get squeezed out here, so we're going to have to ease off the gas slightly. And that's going to compromise our exit speed, so we probably haven't quite got the pace to get alongside the BMW. We're going to have to tuck back in behind. And there's another big sandstorm at the next corner. What's gone in here? We've actually lost 2 drivers. Patriak and Daniel have both been disqualified, so that's given us another 2 positions back. Well, we went from 17th to 16th when Greco lost control of his Audi after that contact with the BMW. We then had to back out of our move around the outside of Konecki, but we would soon get 2 more positions back following this unfortunate incident that resulted in both Daniel and Patriak getting DQ'd. Daniel in particular there is really unlucky. It almost looks like he was punted out by the car after it had already been removed from the game. They must have both been close to their instant point limit, and there is the contact, and watch Patrick's car, it disappears, and then it runs into Daniel, and he gets DQ'd too. So incredibly, we're back up to 14th position, only 2 places shy of where we spun out of to begin with, and we might still have an opportunity yet to get 13th. We've definitely got the pace on Konecki here. Whether we can get around him is another question. We're going to get another lap after this one, so there's still opportunities. We're right on his tail now, so all we can do is put him under a great amount of pressure. Maybe he'll crack, maybe he'll make a mistake. But speaking of mistakes, we don't want to push too hard ourselves. We know what happened the last time, and if we make a mistake again now, we will lose positions, because look behind. Greco is only 1.5 seconds back. Jack Longstaff a bit further behind. And Konecki in front seems to have a bit more pace through this section. He's opened up a 10th or 2, but we might be able to close him in through the chicane. We're quite good through here. Oh yeah, that BMW has taken a lot of grass on the inside, so this might be our opportunity. Can we make a dive to the inside? Hold this tight line. We don't want to squeeze him out. Konecki may be a bit faster exiting this turn if he's managed to carry a little bit more momentum around that wider line, but at the moment we've got half a car length's advantage as we charge down the start-finish straight. This is the last lap. And we're no stranger to this overtake. We've done it several times already this race. We're going to have the inside line into T1 again. We keep it tight, and we've got in front. Now the big question is, what has Konechny got in reply? He's going to want this 13th position back. But will we have the pace to make a break for it and open up a bit of a gap? Or are we going to have to defend for our lives? All will become clear once we exit this stadium section. How close behind is that BMW? The answer is still very close, 0.3 of a second, and he's got a bit more speed by the looks of it. He's going to move to the outside, and that'll give him the inside for the next corner. Oh, but thankfully he's backed out of it, so we're going to move to the inside now and try and cut off this line. We don't want him to get past, but it has compromised our exit. It looks like Konechny is much faster coming out down this back straight, so we're going to have to stay on this inside line and try and defend into this turn. He's actually got his nose in front of us now, but there's no way around the outside. There's a little bit of contact, but by blocking off that inside line, we've managed to hold on to the position, and actually we've got out of that corner a lot quicker too, so we might have done enough now. It's 0.6 of a second. Yeah, the opportunity presented itself at the end of the previous lap. Konechny was a little bit untidy going through the chicane. That opened up the chance for us to make a move up the inside, which we finally sealed at the end of the start-finish straight, taking 13th position in T1. Then we had to defend, and this was the closest that BMW came to passing us. We're side by side coming into this sharp right-hander. But crucially, we've got the inside line and we can defend the position. And yes, that move was enough to guarantee us 13th place. We brought it home, 0.7 of a second ahead of Konechny to take 13th position. Well, what a race. Only the strong survived. No fewer than 12 DQs or DNFs in that race. But here's the classified results. Yes, we're down in 13th place, but it was a really fun battle trying to work our way back from 28th at the end of the first lap. And with that in mind, we've got to be happy with 13th position, but we've also got to be happy with our fastest lap time at 2:04.8. That's 1.2 seconds quicker than my qualifying time, and it's actually fast enough to have challenged for a top 4. So some really encouraging signs there had we not got tangled up in that first lap. Well, if you've enjoyed watching this RaceRoom race, you'll love the GT4 race I did at the Red Bull Ring earlier this season. Feel free to check it out. It is an absolute cracker. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you again on the grid soon. Cheers.